Good morning and welcome back to Morning Download. I am Trajan. Going to cover today's news and talk about value traps. First of all, I want to share with you a tool that we're working on for members of Morning Download. This is a stock evaluator, and Nvidia has been in the news today and yesterday with their presentation at CES. And when we put in Nvidia into our stock analyzer, that is an AI that takes recommendations from analysts and information from all across the web to recommend whether or not you should look into buying Nvidia. It says that the general consensus is analysts say that 95% of them anyway suggest that it's a buy position, even though Nvidia in the last couple of days has lost over $200 billion in their market cap. The stock appears to be currently fairly valued. You can see that it has run up in the last couple of months, and then the last couple of days took a dive. If we look at this on 5-day time period, it just went straight up, straight down. But doesn't mean that it is a bad investment, just a little bit of a choppy market, which we'll talk about in a second. As you can see here, 5% rate that a sell, and 95% rate that a buy. The market is having a rough time after the jobs report that came out on Monday night, stating that the jobs were better than expected, which means that a lot of companies had postponed hiring until after the election, after the holidays, and are now hiring in January, which the market did not expect. So the market sold off yesterday, and crypto sold off, is having a rough time. Speaking of crypto, let's go to here. So speaking of crypto, Dennis Porter, a well-known Bitcoin analyst, and others are talking about the strategic Bitcoin reserve. The U.S. and several other countries, probably about 8 different countries, are talking about setting up a strategic Bitcoin reserve, much like the U.S. has a strategic gold reserve. We have a strategic oil reserve. Other countries like China have lots of mineral reserves, and the U.S., Russia, China, and several other countries are talking about setting up a strategic Bitcoin reserve where the country will just hold Bitcoin on their balance sheet. Currently, the U.S. has about 200,000 Bitcoin that they have repossessed, that usually they would sell, but they're looking at now just holding it and buying more. What has happened in the last couple of weeks is now states are saying that they are looking into having their own Bitcoin reserve. And it's looking like it's going to happen this year. First, there was just a couple of states that said that they were interested, and now it's over a dozen states are now looking into setting up their own Bitcoin reserve. Everybody's looking at companies like MicroStrategy that have been buying Bitcoin. They were the first ones to do it, put it on their balance sheet, and they were the best performing stock of last year, MSTR, because of their Bitcoin holdings. And then other companies are following suit. About 161 companies now have Bitcoin on their balance sheet and are trying to follow the same playbook of boosting their stock price by adding Bitcoin to their balance sheet. So we've got countries, states, and companies all buying Bitcoin. It's going to be a very interesting year for Bitcoin, even as the price fluctuates up and down around $100,000. A lot of analysts, the consensus is that it will end the year over $200,000. I'm not saying it will. That's not financial advice, but that's what the consensus is around $200,000. Some bad news coming out today shows that the U.S. credit card loan defaults increased in 2024, the most since 2010. So the economy is strong in some ways and not strong in other ways. The consumer is really suffering because we've taken on more debt over the last couple of years. Debt has reached all-time high for all levels: credit card debt, car debt, mortgage debt, country debt, corporate debt. The country is having a really tough time with debt, and around the world, debt is becoming a really big issue. Of course, we saw that in the election, the U.S. election, and other elections around the world, that country debt was a big issue. Do you think it's a big issue? Do you have a lot of debt? I'd love to hear your comments below. And if you would like access to this stock analysis tool, which will be out soon, then go to morningdownload.com, subscribe to the newsletter, and we'll announce it soon. Thanks for watching, and see you tomorrow.